Miami Heat general manager and executive vice president of basketball operations Andy Ellisburg had a crucial role in the squad's front office during its two finals runs earlier this decade. Ellisburg's name has been getting mentioned more than usual lately in light of a trying summer he had from a personal standpoint. Because of infections all over his body that were negatively impacting the function of both his liver and kidneys, he ended up having part of one of his feet amputated. "When we got to the hospital, I was a mess," Ellisburg said. "I've got an infection in my foot, an infection in my back, infection in my knee, infections throughout my body. It's affecting my liver, affecting my kidneys. My kidney level was basically at dialysis level. There were a lot of things that were really wrong, and they began a bunch of surgeries." The genesis of Ellisburg's medical struggles over the last several months can be traced back to the latter stages of Miami's 2024-25 campaign, as he was diagnosed with an infection in his foot. It didn't take long until Ellisburg's foot infection exacerbated into something a whole lot more concerning. For the lion's share of the month of May, he underwent surgeries on his back, knee and foot to try to remedy infections in those parts of his body. With Ellisburg dealing with health issues, the likes of team president Pat Riley, assistant general manager Adam Simon, and senior director of basketball operations Dave Bayer took on additional work at the beginning of the offseason. Ellisburg was cleared to return home all the way back in July, though he's in a wheelchair and still participates in physical therapy sessions anywhere between 4 and 6 days per week. In light of all of the health scares he faced during the offseason, Ellisburg is not expected to be traveling on the road with Miami, though he would like to attend the majority of the team's home contests at Kaseya Center. Hopefully, after all that Ellisburg endured across the last several months, he will be in good health throughout the coming 2025-26 season and be able to focus on the well-being of the Heat. It's possible that Miami could turn some heads in the Eastern Conference if its off-season additions show out and members of its young core take steps forward. Imagine, for a minute, a version of DaVon Mitchell who can consistently knock down a high volume of jump shots. Depending on how much value you assign to pick up basketball takeaways, neither you nor me nor the Miami Heat have to imagine for much longer. Speaking on a recent episode of The Kevin O'Connor Show, True Hoops' David Thorpe waxed poetic about Mitchell cracking the code to improve his jump shot. "I saw DaVon in LA this summer playing pickup," he said, hat tip Luca Rosano of NBA Analysis. "It's just pickup basketball, but I thought he had great command. His shot looked great. I think he's figured out how to shoot. Just by being a shooter and then an ace defender, he's a net positive player for them." That last point may be the understatement of the century. Mitchell is among the NBA's most suffocating on-ball defenders. If he is suddenly going to be an above-average shooter on real volume, he's not simply a net positive player. He's one of the Heat's most valuable players, on one of the league's best contracts. Period. Believe in Mitchell's improvement when you see it. Off-season lore is littered with tales of players who allegedly made substantial improvements to their outside touch, only to never deliver on the rumored goods when they take the floor. We should not assume Mitchell will become one of Miami's most lethal floor spacers. Still, there is hope this could be a real development. At 27, Mitchell is not incapable of getting better. He drilled 44.7% of his three-pointers to close the regular season after being traded to the Heat. Then, through 4 playoff appearances, he proceeded to knock down 55.6% of his catch-and-shoot triples and, more critically, 40% of his pull-up threes. Small sample disclaimers apply. Mitchell launched under 4 total three-pointers per 36 minutes last season, a career low. He has ranked in the 50th percentile or better of catch-and-shoot volume just once, in 2024, and this past year was the first time he ever drilled pull-up trays with above-average efficiency, according to B-Ball Index. Bake in an unsettlingly low free throw percentage, sub 70 for his career, and skepticism must be the default. Mitchell changes everything if his jumper is for Real. Even so, Mitchell has always been a willing pull-up jump shooter, ranking inside the 63rd percentile or higher attempts per 75 possessions in every season of his career. If that volume is now paired with better efficiency, it could change everything. Remember, Mitchell's role is about to increase with Tyler Herro missing the start of the regular season. The Miami transplant will have every opportunity to prove his outside touch and command are better than ever. Fast forward to the end of November, and if Mitchell is shooting something like 37 or 38% from deep on meaningful volume, we're talking about a player who can guard the other team's best player on offense and stretch opposing defense. Those archetypes are absurdly valuable and incredibly rare. In this case, Mitchell would amount to basically Lou Dort with better handling and vision. That is terrifying for the rest of the league. Whether it's an attainable vision is a different story, but we're about to find out. The Miami Heat enter the 2025-26 season with a roster that's competitive but not quite complete. Bam Adebayo continues to anchor the defense, and Tyler Herro provides much-needed shot creation, while the front office has already been active, bringing in Norman Powell's scoring punch and reuniting with Precious Achiuwa to bolster the front court. Still, Miami finds itself in the same position every year, good enough to fight for playoff seeding, but one key addition away from truly separating from the pack. With the Eastern Conference wide open, the Heat have an opportunity to make a bold move. That's where the trade market comes into play. Miami has the pieces to construct competitive offers, and here are 3 trade ideas that could help elevate Miami from a tough out in the East to a legitimate title contender. 1. Immediate win-now package for Pascal Siakam. Proposed trade package. Miami Heat receive Pascal Siakam, Johnny Furphy. Indiana Pacers receive Andrew Wiggins, DaVon Mitchell, Nikola Jovic, 2029 first-round pick, 2030 first-round pick, swap, 2031 first-round pick, 2031 second-round pick. Landing Pascal Siakam, 20.2 ppg, 6.9 rpg, 3.4 apg, would instantly give Miami the third star they've been searching for. The veteran forward, fresh off a finals run with Indiana, is the type of two-way weapon who can elevate a good team into the contender tier. His ability to play either forward spot, defend multiple positions, and serve as a secondary creator alongside Bam Adebayo and Tyler Herro makes him a seamless fit. Adding 20-year-old Johnny Furphy, 2.1 ppg in 50 appearances last season, in the deal also gives Miami a young shooter who can grow into a rotation role. For the Pacers, the motivation is about retooling while maintaining flexibility. Andrew Wiggins brings championship experience and can slot in as a capable wing defender, while DaVon Mitchell adds defensive grit in the backcourt. More importantly, Nikola Jovic offers long-term upside, and the multiple first-round picks ensure Indiana stays well-positioned for the future. It's a way to cash out on Siakam's peak value, while keeping their core competitive for when Tyrese Haliburton gets back from injury. Considering Siakam is nearly 32 years old, this isn't the worst deal for them. From Miami's perspective, this is a true, all-in move. Siakam has proven he can thrive as both a number one and complementary piece, and in Miami's system, he wouldn't need to carry the offensive burden every night. With Adebayo holding down the middle, Herro creating on the perimeter, and Norman Powell bringing instant scoring, Siakam's versatility could be the glue that turns Miami into one of the most dangerous teams in the East. 2. Forming Twin Towers with Eurobasket star. Proposed trade package. Miami Heat receive Lauri Markkanen, Georges Niang, Kyle Filipowski. Utah Jazz receive Andrew Wiggins, Nikola Jovic, Jamie Jaquez Jr., Terry Rozier, 2029 first-round pick, 2030 first-round pick, swap, 2031 second-round pick. If Miami wants to make a bold stylistic gamble, pairing Bam Adebayo with Lauri Markkanen could create one of the league's most unique frontcourts. Markkanen's shooting and size, 19.0 ppg, 5.9 rpg, 34.6% three-point FG, would stretch defenses in ways Miami hasn't had before, giving Adebayo more room to operate inside while opening up driving lanes for Herro and Powell. Adding Georges Niang, 9.9 ppg, 3.4 rpg, and Kyle Filipowski, 9.6 ppg, 6.1 rpg, provides even more shooting depth, making this a trade built around spacing and versatility. The Jazz, meanwhile, would collect an intriguing return. Andrew Wiggins and Terry Rozier could step in as veterans who stabilize the roster, while Nikola Jovic and Jamie Jaquez Jr. offer two promising young forwards with untapped upside. The inclusion of draft capital gives Utah long-term flexibility, keeping them well-positioned for their rebuild. For the Heat, This move would be about reshaping their offensive identity. Adebayo's defensive presence allows Miami to get away with a shooting big next to him, and Lauri Markkanen's floor spacing would unlock a new level of efficiency. This lineup would allow Erik Spoelstra to mix traditional sets with modern five-out spacing, making them tough in any playoff series. 3. Clever steal of Jrue Holiday. Proposed trade package. Miami Heat receive Jrue Holiday. Portland Trail Blazers receive Terry Rozier, Simone Fontecchio, 2029 first-round pick, 2030 first-round pick, swap, 2031 second-round pick. Not every move needs to be a blockbuster, and sometimes the smartest trades are the most sneaky. Acquiring Jrue Holiday, 11.1 ppg for 0.3 rpg, 3.9 apg, would give Miami one of the most reliable two-way guards in basketball. Even at 35 years old, his defense remains elite, his championship pedigree speaks for itself, and his ability to play on or off the ball makes him an ideal backcourt partner for Harrow. Holiday would also bring invaluable leadership and stability, something the Heat have historically valued. For Portland, the appeal lies in adding 2 expiring contracts while also picking up valuable draft assets. The Trail Blazers are clearly in a rebuilding phase as they await Damian Lillard's return in 2026-27, and getting younger while stockpiling picks fits their long-term vision. From Miami's perspective, this trade wouldn't drastically change the roster on paper, but it could pay massive dividends in the postseason. Holiday's defensive intensity and ability to hit big shots have swung playoff series before, and pairing him with Adebayo creates a defensive backbone few teams could match.